Good evening, you're watching Just the News. I'm Amita Balachandra. We start off today's bulletin with an update on what's going on in Odisha. Heavy rainfall and floods have wreaked havoc in Odisha. In fact, over 4.67 lakh people in 1,757 villages in over 10 districts have been affected. The administration is now bracing for the next spell of rain because the Indian Meteorological Department has said that there could be heavy rainfall in 20 districts for Thursday and very heavy rainfall in 17 districts for Friday as a new low pressure area is developing. Now 20 districts including Cuttack, Puri and Khurda are expected to receive heavy rainfall. Heavy rainfall in the upper and lower catchment areas of the Mahanadi River has led to breaches in embankments as well. Now, this is what is going on, and this is the response by the government. 11 teams of the NDRF, 12 teams of the ODRF, 52 teams of the Odisha Fire Services have been deployed in flood-affected districts. In fact, the Chief Minister of Odisha also did an aerial survey in flood-affected districts. Moving on from the story right now. After 11 men convicted of gang raping Bilkis Bano were released from jail, there's a statement that's been put out by Bilkis Bano where she said that she was bereft of words and that she is still numb. Now, she said, and I quote, "How can justice for any woman end like this? I trusted the highest courts in our land. I trusted the system and I was learning slowly to live with my trauma. My sorrow and my wavering faith is not for myself alone, but for every woman who is struggling for justice in courts," end quote. Now, there was also a request for the Gujarat government. She said, and I quote, "Give me back my right to live without fear and in peace. Please ensure that my family and I are kept safe," end quote. Now, Bilkis Bano was gang raped by the convicts when she was pregnant. She was 19 at the time. It was one of the most horrific cases from the 2002 Gujarat riots. Meanwhile, it's centre versus Delhi government as far as Rohingya refugees go. Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia has said that the Delhi government will not let Rohingya refugees settle in the national capital. Now, Mr. Sisodia has said, and I quote, "The Delhi government is clear that Rohingyas will not be allowed to illegally settle in Delhi and will oppose this move with all its might," end quote. Now, yesterday, hours after putting out a tweet, that Rohingya refugees would be shifted to flats in Delhi. This was put out by the Union Housing Minister, Hardeep Singh Puri. The Home Ministry later put out a statement that that was not the case. They said that there was no such provisions made. The statement said that illegal foreigners should be kept in detention centers according to the law. An update on the Bengal SSC scam. Former West Bengal Minister Partha Chatterjee and his aide Arpita Mukherjee have been sent to judicial custody till August 31st in the alleged SSC scam. Now, they have been in ED's remand since their arrest on the 23rd of July in connection with its probe into the money trail in illegal recruitments done by the School Service Commission for West Bengal government-sponsored and aided schools. Now, the ED has claimed that it recovered 49.80 crore rupees in cash, jewelry and gold bars from apartments owned by Mukherjee, besides documents of properties and a company joint holding as well. Moving on now, the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting has blocked 8 YouTube channels, out of which 7 are from India and 1 was being operated from Pakistan for promoting fake news against the country. Now, the YouTube channels had a cumulative viewership of 114 crore and had 85.7 lakh subscribers. Now, the ministry has released a statement which says, and I quote, "False claims were made in various videos of the blocked YouTube channels. Examples include spreading fake news such as the government ordering demolition of religious structures, banning celebration of religious festivals and declaration of religious war in India," end quote. Meanwhile, in Tamil Nadu, AIADMK leader Palaniswami has moved the Madras High Court, challenging an order by its single bench that declared his elevation as the sole interim general secretary of the party as invalid. Now, yesterday, the Madras High Court had said that EPS's appointment as AIADMK general secretary is not valid. Now, on the issue of party leadership, the court had ordered a status quo as before June 23rd, which means that the party will be under the joint leadership like it functioned earlier, with Mr. Selvam as the coordinator and Mr. Palaniswami as his deputy. In the meantime, former Tamil Nadu Chief Minister O. Selvam urged Palaniswami to run the party jointly with him. Now, speaking to the media, he said, and I quote, "It is not about single or dual leadership. I want a collective leadership for the AIADMK. This is the desire of the AIADMK party workers," end quote. Now, contrary to what OPS said, joint coordinator of the party EPS then went on to say that the General Council wishes, in fact, for a single leadership, and that all the leaders of the General Council have been duly elected by the party cadre. Meanwhile, in Maharashtra, after a boat carrying AK-47 rifles, explosives and bullets were found at the Harihareshwar coast, Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis has said that the boat in fact belongs to an Australian couple who abandoned it after engine trouble. Now, prima facie, he said that there is no terror angle as yet. Probe is currently on. Now, the damaged boat was found near Harihareshwar beach in Raigad, which is 190 kilometers away from Mumbai, by fishermen. Also in the news, Samyukt Kisan Morcha has now begun a protest pressing for various demands in Lakh, including the sacking of Union Minister Ajay Kumar Mishra. Now, the demands also include a legal guarantee on minimum support prices and compensation for families of those who died during the farmers' protest. Now, to give you a bit of a context, last year on the 3rd of October, 8 people, including 4 farmers, were killed in the Lakhimpur Kheri incident. Ajay Mishra's son, Ashish Kumar Mishra, is an accused in this case. Meanwhile, student organizations in the Northeast have started protesting against the Citizenship Amendment Act yet again, nearly 2 years after the protests first erupted. Now, the indigenous groups in the Northeast feel that the law might lead to an influx of migrants from bordering Bangladesh. Now, the CAA, which is yet to be implemented, provides citizenship to refugees from 6 minority religious communities from Bangladesh, Afghanistan, and Pakistan on the condition that they have lived in India for 6 years and entered the country by the 31st of December 2014. Moving on to environment news right now. According to a report released by the US-based Health Effects Institute, Delhi and Kolkata are the 2 top most polluted cities globally in terms of being exposed to hazardous fine particulate matter, which is PM 2.5 in 2019. Now, Mumbai is also in the top 20 list. It is figuring in the 14th number in the list in terms of being exposed to PM 2.5 in 2019. Now, in terms of impact, Delhi and Kolkata reported 106 deaths and 99 deaths per lakh of population, respectively, due to the exposure of PM 2.5 in 2019, whereas Beijing in China reported the highest, which means it's at the top of the list, with 124 deaths per lakh population. Now, according to the report, which analyzed data of 7,239 cities globally, 50 cities with the most severe increase in PM 2.5, 41 of those were in India and 9 are in Indonesia. On to news coming in from across the globe right now. We start off with Afghanistan. 21 people have been killed and 33 injured after a huge explosion rippled through a crowded mosque in Afghanistan's Kabul. Now, no group has claimed responsibility for the blast so far. Security forces have now sealed off the blast scene in Kabul. Also in the news, 24-year-old Hadi Matar, the person charged with the second-degree attempted murder and assault of author Salman Rushdie, said that he acted alone and disliked him for being disingenuous. Now, in an interview with New York Post, he said, and I quote, "When I heard he survived, I was surprised, I guess," end quote. Now, Matar did not respond on whether he was inspired by Iranian supreme leader who had issued a fatwa calling for Rushdie's death in 1989 after the book The Satanic Verses was published. Now, Rushdie suffered 3 stab wounds to his neck, 4 stab wounds to his stomach, a puncture wound to his right eye and chest, and a laceration on his right thigh. Moving on to our good news for the day, and this is going to be quite nostalgic for a lot of Mumbaikers, people who really like double-decker buses, because Union Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari has unveiled India's first double-decker AC electric bus in Mumbai. The double-decker bus will run on electricity and not on diesel. Now, the new electric double-decker bus will be the world's first semi low flow air conditioned electric double decker with a wider door on a rear overhang and a rear staircase as well. That brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for watching.